In the complexity of our lives, to not say the roller coaster that is our lives, sometimes our wounds go unhealed, leaving us feeling fragmented and lost, and we start to construct facets to shield our wounded souls. But today I want to push us to understand and heal our internalized pain, remembering that while we might feel lost and even get lost at times, we are never broken. Welcome to Conscious Matters. I'm Melissa. On this channel, I'll talk about conscious living through empowerment and holistic wellness, especially mindfulness. At times, we fail to process our trauma. It can be for so many different reasons. It can be because in our community, we don't talk about trauma. We just keep on going. We're strong. Or because I'm a man, I don't go into my feelings. What happened to me, whatever, I just keep on going. Or maybe it's just a part of your belief because in the way that you were raised or the belief that you caught up from your external environment, dealing with your trauma, dealing with your pain is something that you don't discuss, you don't process, you don't take the time to feel, understand, and try to healthily move on from it. You just act as if it doesn't exist. And sometimes it can even come from fear. You can be so scared to face it to the point of thinking that if you think about it, you might go too deep into it and you don't want to relieve that, to leave again that pain. So you end up brushing it under the rug. But the thing is, with trauma and feelings and emotions, and when it's unprocessed trauma, at some point it will always go up to the surface. And you better be prepared, because if you heal that thing, you will be not triggered by it anymore, or you will be less triggered about it. But if you haven't, I think life has a funny way to always push us to revisit certain events that happen in our life, most of the time traumatic events, which gives us a chance to approach it a different way, to maybe understand something about us that we weren't seeing before, or maybe about people or humanity, or something that we tend to downplay when it's something that we need to be aware of with people, with situation, with ourselves. So no matter your beliefs, no matter your gender, no matter which community you come from, we all go through trauma. Once again, it's not a competition about which trauma is the most impactful, not at all. I do believe that everybody has a different capacity to handle pain, and we are served by life only by things that we can handle. And what we can handle can be very little compared to someone else in the eyes of someone else, but to us, it's so big. And the thing is with unprocessed trauma is that it never leaves you. As I said before, at some point it will resurface. And even before it resurfaces, it gets stuck in your subconscious mind telling you stories about yourself, or I would even say lies about yourself, that you keep on believing and playing small in this life, to not fully seeing who you are and being able to live a life that you deserve. And processed trauma ends up saying things like, I am not worthy, I will never be accepted, I am not good enough, or what I do is never enough. And these beliefs that are merely a result of our unprocessed trauma and have nothing to do with who we are at the core, who we are as a person, sway us and often lead us to a destination that is so far away from our true path, because we end up believing these lies about ourselves because we haven't done the inner process of what happened to us. And when we haven't processed such things that are very impactful on our psyche and our heart, as I was saying before in the intro, we end up constructing shields. We build up walls. We try to change the way that we are to not be hurt again, to fit in, to hide our vulnerabilities. I'm not going to go too deep into that because I already made a video about self-acceptance and creating false identity that you can check out. But essentially, to avoid hurt, we change ourselves. And the more that we change ourselves to protect ourselves, the more that we stray away from our true self to our design path and from unleashing our full potential. So all in all, unprocessed trauma becomes a hindrance to who we are meant to be. And we don't want that. We want to be fully authentic and rooted in ourselves in order to live the most empowered and fulfilling life. And how do we do that? How do we heal this unprocessed trauma or even traumas that we've been through? that are stuck within or within. The first thing to heal anything is to be honest with ourselves. It all starts with the profound question, am I ready, very much ready, to let go of the false identity that trauma put upon me? To show up as my truest self instead of keeping on hiding essential parts of me because I'm afraid, I'm scared, I don't want to go through that pain again. And at the same time, that identity that we carried because we want to protect ourselves also became our comfort zone. But it's time to leave victimhood behind and use that past experience that made us feel less than as something that we can use and utilize to empower ourselves, to get into that next chapter in ourselves, to choose resilience and empowerment rather than self-abandonment and victimization. It's time to abandon excuses and embrace self-acceptance as a foundation of self-improvement and living a fulfilling life. Instead of being like, yeah, that happened to me, so now I hate this type of people. And that can be literally anything. It can be that person from this country treated me badly when I was traveling, and now I hate people with that ethnicity. So making a whole generalization of an entire population just because of one person. It can be, I've been cheated on, so now I cheat on every single one of my new partners. It can be, I've been laid off from my previous job, so now I decide to not work from any single employer ever again and just sit at home and wait for my unemployment check. It can be so many things. So I let you create your own narrative with your own story or even your own imagination. But I think when you realize that you cannot let a past negative experience or traumatic experience, when you were a victim at that time, it wasn't your choice. It wasn't your fault that that situation happened to you. But it is your responsibility to know today, do I still want that past negative experience have an impact on my life today and tomorrow? Or do I take self-accountability for how I live today and how I envision my life for the future? In the past, you didn't have a choice, but today you have the choice. You have the choice, you have the responsibility, and you have to stop abandoning yourself. You have to make the choices that lifts you up, that elevates you in this life. Because whether we think that we had multiple past lives and we're gonna have multiple future lives, the thing is, the only thing that is for sure is the life that you have right now. So what are you gonna do with it? Who do you wanna be? What qualities do you wanna embody? What do you wanna do? So it starts with asking yourself these questions, but you cannot move forward if you haven't cleared the path. And this unprocessed trauma adds obstacles into not only your path from behind, but also the path that is ahead of you. So once you're honest with yourself and you have answered these crucial questions and you're ready to embark into the healing journey and let go of this trauma, to let go of not necessarily forgetting about the experience, but shifting your perspective of how you see it now and how it can actually serve your life today. So that pain was not for nothing. Moving through life with unprocessed trauma is completely unhealthy and building up that toxicity within yourself. So healing means also creating a new healthy persona for yourself, one that feels true and authentic with your healed self and not your wounded self. So the way that you move through life is not through being triggered every single time by so many things, but actually having a higher perspective, more compassion, more love, more tolerance and patience and presence for yourself, but for others as well. So ultimately, that will bring more peace into your life, and peace has no price. So I'd say the first thing, once you've been honest, you've processed your emotions by yourself, you can once again check out so many videos that I made about mindfulness practices, about self-acceptance, about trusting yourself, dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubts, so on and so forth. You can check all of that out. And once you have done that inner personal personal work on yourself, it's important to check your circle. As long as we're not healed, or as long as we are still wounded, we keep on choosing the same people that pokes at our wounds. That for different reasons. We're not masochists, but sometimes we tend to choose that same person that hurt us in the past because we're hoping for closure, or we feel that we can change that person, or maybe the situation will be different, hoping for a different outcome. But at the end of the day, when our wound has not been healed, we won't be able to make rational choices in a triggered situation. You don't need to live again and again and again the same trauma. Why are you doing that to yourself? You need safe relationships. Relationship that makes you feel safe and secure, seen and heard. Relationship that gives you peace of mind. Even when there are bickering and arguments, because we are humans, and we're all different, so obviously it's gonna happen, but to the point where you guys are rooting for each other, that you guys are in the same team, not relationships that makes you feel less than, that hurts you, that puts you in that negative and heavy state all the time, that you feel that you always have to look over your shoulder, behind your back, because you never find that baseline of respect and peace. So once you have cleared out your circle, you have made room for yourself to be able to heal yourself, to process what hasn't been processed before. By checking your circle, you're also creating your own safe space to be able to face the trauma that has been so impactful and traumatizing for yourself, to process these past negative situations that traumatize you for the longest time. But without that safe space, it's hard to address what really hurts and make room for you to let go of the baggage. So once you've cleared out your circle, you created that safe space for you to be able to resolve whatever it needs to be resolving, cultivate a profound relationship with yourself. It is crucial, because when you feel good within yourself, when you feel secure within yourself, when you fully know yourself, not only you're more secure and grounded, it's harder to fall back into your old ways. You can be believing about the lies that we talked about before, which are a result of the trauma, the I am not good enough, I am not lovable, I am not capable, so on and so forth. But also it enables better discernment on people and situations that you are faced with today, or you will be faced with in the future. When you have the best relationship with yourself, you are no longer driven by need or approval. Now you are seeking safety, wellness, and peace. So now you end up choosing people who uplift you, not drag you down. And that is so important, because we're not an island. We have been designed to live as communities. We're going to be surrounded by people, but everybody has to face their own shortcomings, difficulties, realities that doesn't allow constant support 24/7 for you. So if you can provide that for yourself, you will once again never be in the place of need, but a place of adding as bonuses, as extra. And what you're able to give to yourself is what you are able to give to others. Healing from internalized pain also means embracing vulnerability and having honest conversations. Depending how you grew up, or even from which country you're from, or which communities in these countries you're from, talking about your fears and insecurities might not have been a given, might not have been something that is normal, or that's something that we do as part of this community. So you probably need to learn that for yourself. And that's another challenge, but no challenge is insurmountable. It's okay to be vulnerable, to be open about your fears and insecurities and your doubts and worries, whether it's with trusting individuals, and I emphasize on that, with trusting individuals. Not everybody deserves your story. Or whether it is through journaling, so you have honest conversations with yourself, you release on the paper. And the goal of these honest conversations, showing up your full vulnerability, is to release these stuck emotions and reflect upon them so you can fully let them go, freeing yourself from the weight of unspoken pain. And also, I have to add that, because That was one thing that I used to do that I realized is not pretty good, which is pretty much downplaying your trauma. Downplaying, and also as a result, gaslighting yourself, saying that what I've been through is not that bad compared to other people. So I will just suck it in and keep on going. I repeat what I said at the beginning. This is not a competition about which trauma is the worst compared to this person and that person and this person. We all have our capacity to withhold pain and also to face pain. But either way, it's still pain, it's still hurt, it's still trauma, it's still something that affected you negatively and deeply. So you cannot act as if it's nothing, and you cannot hope to move on with your life as who you are designed to be. I know I'm repeating myself, but I think it's important. You need to process the internalized trauma. You need to process the stuck emotions. You need to let go of all of this heaviness in order to go and fly and be who you are supposed to be. So stop gaslighting yourself. Lastly, become better, not bitter. Rise from your life experiences. Don't dwell on those people who wronged you or those situations that traumatized you. Yes, that happened. Acknowledge that for yourself. Process all of the feelings that these situations or these people put upon you. But then you gotta release. You gotta release, you gotta let go. But you have to reclaim your power. You cannot let these people or this situation still have power over you after all of this time. Yes, it was unfair. Yes, it was extremely painful. Yet holding on to past hurts and feeling sorry for yourself, staying in the past in your head when you actually in the present and preparing your future, only hinder your journey. Forgive and move on for your own sake. Forgiveness is for you. It's not a permission for others to keep on hurting you or hurting you again, but it's your path to liberation. You cannot simultaneously hold on to the past and move forward to forge your future. It was what it was. Acknowledge it once again, process whatever needs to be processed, learn from it, and move on with the lessons that you got out of it. But let go of the hurt, the emotions around that situation, that person, or that event. Learn, let go, and grow. As long as you own your journey, your successes, your qualities, but also your failures, your mistakes, your limitations, you free yourself from the shackles of hurt, guilt, and shame. This journey of life is nothing but embracing yourself and setting yourself free. Because most of the time we think that we're free because we're not physically imprisoned, but we're often stuck in our mental prison or imprisoned in our emotional pain. Healing is possible. It's normal to feel hurt. It's normal to have that pain when we go through traumatizing events. It's normal that it changes us to some extent. But as long as we don't let that hinder our growth, we don't let that pain take over our beautiful self, over everything that we're capable to accomplish in this life, and not only accomplish but fully express who we are deep inside, our true self, not our wounded self. You and only you have the power to reclaim your true authentic self, to release the burdens of the past, of your past, and to emerge from all of that stronger, wiser, and more authentic. Let go, heal, and embrace the journey of self-discovery. It's not an easy one, that is for sure, but it's so rewarding. Share in the comment section if you're ready to let go of this internalized pain. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay true, keep showing up for yourself, and let your soul lead the way.